currently a report on the table of the House for those who are doubting Thomas's. There currently is a report right now, as we are speaking, on the floor of the House that will most likely be adopted, which has mentioned a number of people, not just to be held and to be investigated, but to be held responsible personally for a number of issues. So it is not an issue of whether this committee can or we already have done it and we are going to do it. And in this particular instance, we want to get to the bottom of it, but with all our facts in our hand. Honorable Babu?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, under the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances, the Parliament checks and provides balances on the executive, and the Parliament is an independent body. Members of Parliament can even go to an extent of impeaching members of the executive, but members of the executive cannot remove a member of Parliament from the position. Therefore, Chairman, you have all the powers as the most powerful chairman, again, of the most powerful committee in Parliament, that is the Public Investment Committee. Therefore, Chairman, let us proceed.
We have professors with us. Yes, Thuku.
You see, I'm very careful when we're dealing with such a matter that is has elicited a lot of public interest and emotions. But also, at times I also want to be the devil's advocate. And I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody here. Just a question, just to add on what the Vice Chairman has requested. Because we understand there are a lot of stocks in PPE stocks in Kemsa stores. Yet, we hear from our county hospitals, nurses are going on strike because
they're not there.
They do not have PPEs. Could there be some kind of sabotage? Where is it that you get your distribution schedule? Because that is important. Because there could be infighting that we do not know. Where we sit.
Actually, I need to add on to this on one thing. And CEO, how long have you been with Kemsa?
7 months.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 months. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who is the oldest amongst you, but okay, you've been with Kemsa for 7 months. I can assure you, in the financial year 2016-17, you had quite a number of drugs, and these were your own responses. The same responses that I'm hoping that the same people did not make the same mistake. The reason why a number of your drugs, according to your 2016-17 responses, were expiring was that you were buying these drugs at that particular moment before the new constitution. The drugs were being bought from Nairobi and you were pushing. There was no pull. Those were the explanations. Economics was that whether counties wanted those things, you were just dumping them to the counties. At that particular moment, there were municipalities. So the question was used in procuring these particular items. Did we just wake up in the morning and say that we need 1,000, or we decided we need 2,000, or we decided we need 3,000 without any plan? What made us be able to jump our budget as much as there was an emergency that had occurred? What necessitated us to be able to jump our budgets to the extent that as we are speaking right now, Kemsa has pending bills of 4 billion shillings? The Treasury, because right now there is no information at our behest as to whether Treasury approved for you to go ahead and engage in these farms. And you have now put the institution, has now been kept in a jeopardy that we have 4 billion. We do not know whether that 4 billion was approved. Who approved it for those purchases to be made? And if those purchases were to be made, it would even make economic sense for someone to say that there was a need, and yes, after that need, we should not even talk about having pending bills. We should talk about Kemsa having been in profit, because if you're buying, you're not buying for just keeping them in the warehouses. You're buying and selling them to the county governments. Yes, Meli.
Chair, Thank you, Chair. I think, sorry for coming in late. I'm Melly Julius, Member of Parliament in that constituency, and a member of the...
In 2 weeks, you'll be able to provide all this information?
Yes.
How long will the auditor's office take before we make a decision on whether those timelines are acceptable? Auditor, how long will you take to be able to digest that information?
Chairman, if we are only considering the headquarters, that is Kemsa headquarters alone, we can take about 3 weeks. But if we have to cover the country to see the distributions, we may require about 2 more weeks.
I think what we will do, colleagues, and I think that would be the right way, instead of us saying that we are waiting for the Office of the Auditor General to physically go to all those counties, they have systems in place. And those systems can actually be able to talk. We are right now we don't want to know what is stuck at the counties. That is the role of the senators. What we want to know is Kemsa, what they bought, how much is with them. We want to know the cost at which they bought it. So I think within those 2 weeks, if you actually can be able to send a team and to work, if it means that Kemsa offices and get all these documents.
Chair, I want to agree with the CEO that for him 2 weeks is acceptable, but considering the interest generated by this matter, and considering the fact that at times as a committee we are obliged to advise agencies timely, I will ask the Office of the Auditor General to take at most a week to compile his report and share with the committee.
All right. Us going through as 2017, 2018, metamorphosized with whatever is going on currently. And colleagues, we do not have to start giving examples of what we have been able to do previously. However, we will not be just guided. And I think this now goes to everyone. And when I mean everyone, of course, the media is here. I don't want to address it as to the media, but to everyone. That means to those people who are civil societies or whoever it is that has any information that they feel they can be able to bring forward. Please do bring it forward. And we are going to agree on timelines. We're going to agree on specific timelines between yourselves and between the Office of the Auditor General and between ourselves as a team of parliamentarians who have been entrusted to look at these public investments. What is of grave importance is, one, I am aware through going through your audit reports, the amount of money that had been allocated. Of course, yes, there was an issue of this was an emergency. So one, colleagues had requested, and I think we want to make sure that it is there. One, did you get permission to spend that excess? The amount of money that Kemsa committed itself was 11,691,759,788. Out of this 11,691,000 plus, what you procured and you committed yourself with was about 7.6 billion. And I think 4 billion is where there was a bone of contention. And now, as well, we need to understand what that bone of contention for that 4 billion was. And even this amount of money that you committed yourself, the 7.6 billion, the payments that you have made is close to 3.6 billion. It's actually 3,588 million, leaving a balance of 4 billion as pending bills. This 4 billion as pending bills, did you get any form of commitment from Treasury that first of all you're allowed to be able to spend this amount of money? This is one of the things that we require. Two, we will require the list of all the companies you have been able to provide to us, and I think Parliament will be able to assist you. We will write to the Registrar of Companies. We want to know these particular companies that you awarded